Om Shanti. Practice being in the stage of soul consciousness. Become introverted. Languages of a spiritual yogi life. Introverted souls are experienced in three types of language. First, language of the eyes. Second, language of feelings. Third, language of thoughts. These three languages are the languages of a spiritual yogi life. The more you continue to remain introverted in the form of sweet silence, the more experience you will be able to give souls through these three languages. Now, develop your practice of these spiritual languages. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Today's day 19. Practice being in the stage of soul consciousness. Become introverted. Today's topic, languages of a spiritual yogi life. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. We all know that this is Mama's month. So every day we get some specialty of Mama, but also we had been for 5 minutes using Mama's Murli also every evening. And I think that there are not too many books of Mama's Murli, but there are some. And when you read them, then Mama takes just one concept, or she will take one point and take us deeper. Mama was given the name Saraswati, right? Goddess of knowledge. And it's so interesting that when she heard Baba's Murli, the way she understood, and then later on she explained to others also. So Mama, in very short Brahmin life, reached to her complete stage. But then Mama from Saraswati became Durga, fearless, right? When she went to court to represent Baba or Omanli, she was really fearless. When she told the judge, I am not going to take oath with this Gita because it's not real Gita, it's not true Gita. And anyway, because, judge also won't look into her eyes because he was told that they have magic in the eyes. So, so judge already had fear. So she was on a victory point anyway from very beginning. And then Mama also became Lakshmi. I remember Mama used to travel when I was in Delhi. After travel, sometimes she will come. At that time in Yagya, everything was minimum. So when Mama will travel and come, she was like Lakshmi, she will bring for Yagya. So Mama's birth, but also then how to be happy and cheerful with introversion. If you are not introverted, you take sorrow. Circumstances can affect you. But when you are introverted, then you remain cheerful, very carefree. So we listen to languages of a spiritual yogi life. I think those who heard in Hindi remember it. Introverted souls are experienced in 3 types of languages. First one, the language of the eyes. Language of feelings, second. And the third is language of thoughts. There is a song, Mon Ki Bhasha. There is a silent language. These are not spoken languages, they are silent. Through the eyes, through the thoughts, through our feelings. So these 3 languages are the languages of the spiritual life. So if we want to maintain our high spirituality, right? But then how that happens? More you continue to remain introverted in the form of sweet silence, the more experience you will be able to give souls through these 3 languages. Dadi Gulzar was example for us for that. She will sit in meeting for 3 hours. So in the end, Dadi, you say something. What to say? Because we get so many thoughts, right? But very, very deep silence. So Baba is saying that the more experience you will be able to give souls through these 3 languages. Now, what is needed? Develop your practice of these spiritual languages. I think it's very, very fascinating. Maybe we are doing it, but if we pay attention, not only pay attention, but practice, when there are, in at home, when we are very close, then it's through the signals, Through the eyes we say, do this. So same is when there is spiritual relationships. We don't have to say much, right? Because lot of understanding, lot of communication. Sometimes in words there is more misunderstanding, right? You say something, it's heard differently. You listen and then in few, whatever is the answers or solutions, to say through these 3 languages, right? So we will experiment that. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Gayatri.
Om Shanti, Didi, you are at Peace Village.
Yes. Yeah, we came this afternoon.
And you're surrounded by summer flowers, those flowers that are by your side. They are very colorful. And they are between spring and summer. So on Saturday, it will be the first day of summer. and it will be the summer solstice. It will be a very long day on Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, the International Day of Yoga as well. But one of the things I love to do, even with these Avyakti points, I like to get the Murli from which they were taken. And just by chance, I went into the Murli search, and this particular Murli came up, in which this language, the three languages, at this point was taken from, and it's the Murli of the 4th of December 1985. And the context that Baba talked about these three languages is that he said that when he comes, there are children in front of him, and he meets them and he speaks. But there are also children who meet him in the subtle form, and he communicates with them through these three languages. He also said that every time we have a heart-to-heart conversation with him, he listens to those heart-to-heart conversation through these three languages. So today, I want to put to you the context, some of it you mentioned, of how Baba, and then he took each one individually. And I want to ask you your experience of what he's saying about each one. And he said that the language of the eyes is the language of giving and receiving signals. That's how you receive signals from Baba. It's through drishti, through the language of the eyes. And so I find for me, if someone is talking to me, like if you are talking to me, and I don't keep focus on looking at you in your eyes, or looking at the person speaking to me in their eyes and focusing on the soul, I don't hear any word. I hear the words, but I don't hear what you're saying. And so I wonder, this subtle language of the eyes, how do you experience receiving Baba's signal when you go to him in the subtle region? Because that's how you get the message.
Mm-hmm.
It's through the signals given to you through the eyes that make sense and meaning, and you then bring it back as a message through words.
Actually, we always kind of see each other, and that was common. But it's only when Baba taught us to look at the soul. And then I remember that Shiv Baba comes and Brahma Baba. So when first time I met Brahma Baba and Baba gave me drishti, there were 2-3 experiences. One is that, yes, he is my father. There was such clear recognition through the eyes, through drishti, but also I felt that Baba, through drishti, purified me, like he forgave about everything. So like I felt such a purity, what is really purity. And after that, I find that Avyakt Bapdada. So there was no difference in, I mean, Dadi Gulzar's eyes were comparative to Brahma Baba's eyes, little larger in size. But when Baba looked at me, Avyakt Bapdada, it was same Baba, same drishti, same size, everything was like same. And now you are saying when I go to subtle regions, you know, the language, there is no only language in subtle region is of pure thoughts, right? Baba said. We don't hear anything, but still we listen everything. So there are two words, hearing and listening. Sometimes we look at person and that person is listening to you in the sense I am speaking, but I know that that person's attention is somewhere else. So I say, are you listening? You know, but in subtle regions, it's like somebody is you typing things in your mind. You know, it's like you're not listening, but still you are listening, and that is more like somebody is typing in my mind. This is this. This is this. This is this. I mean, this is the best I can describe. But the drishti of Baba with the Vyakti Parivar since started, 5 years. Every Thursday almost, I offer bhog in the evening. And Baba's drishti, sometimes love, sometimes power, but sometimes also like he's working on the soul. Like say, I am making efforts. There is something I really want to bring transformation. Baba's drishti can do that. And I find immediately anything like Baba knows more what soul is trying to achieve. And Baba's drishti actually helps us to achieve that. So I have a lot of experience just through the drishti. And then one time, there was a time that we used to go and sit in meditation in different Dadi's room. So some evening we will go to Dadi Gulzar's room, some evening Dadi Gulzar, Dadi Janki. So half an hour we were sitting and Dadi Gulzar was looking at Brahma Baba, awake Baba all the time. So after half an hour I asked Dadi, what were you doing? What were you? She said, taking all the powers of Baba. I was taking all the powers of Baba. And I could feel that not only she was very still, but as if, they both are kind of, Baba is fulfilling what she is. That's why she felt receiving. One person, Drishti has a lot of connection with vritti, attitude, right? If I have for anyone anything in my attitude, it comes through Drishti. One time, one of the brother from a country did something which was not right, and I came to know. But he came to see me in the room in Gyan Sarovar. So of course, when they come, we share drishti. After talking, he went outside. So one or two brothers told him, Sister Mohini knows about what you did. But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel from her drishti. And that was like new life for him. Then he came to know, I know it, but in my drishti, he didn't feel that. Because I was, as I heard, I said, okay, forgive him, I mean, it's Baba, but I am not going to hold it. And that is always in my life. I am not going to hold whether anyone says anything or anyone, I'm not, because it's all right. That's soul's part and karma. But I want total purity in my attitude so that this drishti can serve. But if I am holding even little bit about so and so is like this, so and so, it's all right, whatever they are, they are. Only what I have to remain is I don't want anyone's sanskar, right? I don't want anyone's weakness. Mama used to tell us somebody is trying to throw the garbage and you try to take it. So if somebody has certain weaknesses or We know wrong things, all that, but why should I carry it? Why should I take in my attitude? So I think that it's like love for Baba. Whatever is there, our attitude has a lot to do with drishti, right? And then drishti creates srishti, means the relationships are built on that drishti. When I find that some person, they don't feel love or whatever. So I said, no, through our drishti, just keep giving to that soul also. So experience with Baba, with Dadis, but also sharing with others. I think it's very, very powerful.
What you're saying is also connected to the second thing that he mentioned. And he said the language of feelings is revealed. The word he used was revealed through the expressions on the face. So if there is love, that is revealed through the features and expressions on the face. If there's enmity, that will also be revealed. And if there's any selfish motive, any desire that you come with, that will also be revealed. Now, what you're saying is very interesting. You're saying that but drishti is very much connected to vritti, which is the attitude. So whatever is in the attitude will influence or will color the lens of the drishti. But it's also connected to this language of feelings, because in the attitude too, if there's enmity, if there is jealousy, whatever, it's coming through. And so the feelings then get blocked as well by the attitude. So whatever is in my attitude, it blocks the feelings and it blocks what I want to show through the drishti, because the drishti doesn't ever lie. This is the thing about drishti. Drishti doesn't lie. I could lie inside, but the drishti will be showing exactly what's in the attitude, and those feelings will be conveyed through the drishti. So what is your understanding of the connection between the vritti and the heart?
I always say that our brain and heart both are very important in the physical way and also spiritually, the intellect and the heart. I think one time we asked Dadi Janki, when you say something, people don't feel it, they accept it. When we say it, they feel it. She said, because you say with the feeling, so they feel it. And I think you remember once we were in Brazil in a call of time, and some of you were sitting on a table, and Dadi Janki likes to go table to table in dining room. And you all were saying, Dadi, come, there is an issue, and we want you to listen. Dadi said, no. First, you all make your faces all right, because issue is there, why it came in your feelings and your face also. So you all sort out that, then I will come. And I still remember that, because it's like you have to be very careful. I know it's happening to me, somebody, I try not to keep the feelings in me, in the sense of just, this is a loving soul. Someone make mistakes because they don't have that virtue, right? So if I have to donate virtue, I have to just be that example. Instead of saying you don't have patience, have more patience. That person will learn definitely from them. So I think that don't take anything in your heart and the brain also, intellect. No, Baba says, don't be influenced by anything. So this influence of feelings and influence on the intellect, I think these are, like, I feel they are useless, I always kind of keep them far and say, no. How will I then feel Baba? How will I feel Baba's love if my feelings are this, I felt bad, I felt bad. I don't feel bad because I say, well, I have to keep my feelings pure because when Baba loves me, how will I feel? So feelings are very important in the life to experience God, to experience, what He's saying. So I'm careful because I want to listen to God. So I don't want to keep anyone's, so heart and the brain are very important. You remember that Janki used to say, be careful until end your heart and brain should be okay. So yeah.
Yeah. And then that was very beautiful. And then Baba went on to talk about the language of elevated thoughts. And he says the language of elevated thoughts, it's people will get a clear message from a distance. That's elevated thoughts. It will convey to them a message. And so he says they will experience something that you may take 3 minutes to speak, they will experience it in a second. And so the language of elevated thoughts is actually ultimately will give people the experience of liberation in life in a second. But it wouldn't be through words. It would be like it travels from a distance and it will touch their intellect. But what he equally said, and you have mentioned it, is that none of these three languages will operate without the clean and clear intellect. And that is why he has blessed us with a divine intellect. And so if the divine intellect isn't clean and clear and connected, none of these three languages would work. I know there are a lot of Brahmins who don't connect to intellect. They connect to heart, they connect to drishti, they connect to feelings, they connect to vibrations, but they don't necessarily connect to the divine insight, the divine intellect. So I just wanted you to comment on that, the role of the divine intellect, the clarity in
That's why
relation to
Baba is using the word introverted, no?
Mhm.
Because when there is introversion, you're really looking at your own self, And like, one time Dadi Prakashwani was sitting outside there. Uh, there is little garden which now they have closed it outside Dadi Gulzar's room. So Dadi was sitting there, Jagdish Bhai, there were a few others. So there was a subject where some were really kind of indirectly criticizing Dadi, and we were kind of, can you stop it? We can't tolerate it. And of course, Dadi was sitting and listening. So when it finished, we asked Dadi, how can you listen all that? She said, I was checking my 8 powers. I was saying, is tolerance working? Is patience working? And I don't forget that. I always say anything. Let me check if my powers are working. Because it's only when there are people who are, whatever reason they say or they think, but I have to be, let me see if I can use the powers. Because whenever there are adverse situations or challenges, that's the time you need to see if my powers are working or not. So I think introversion and kind of attention on the self, not what someone said, but what is my response. I'm responsible for my response, not what other person said. That's that person's habit or job or whatever it is. So I think if we, adopt to introversion and think I have to have all the eight powers working and I have to be Master Almighty, all that is there, then definitely I think that, as you said, yes, we will be able to keep our feelings and elevated thoughts are really which works like blessings. No? When we think elevated about anyone, then that person feels that I got some blessing, and they work, through our drishti, through our feelings, through. I mean, lot we are doing really by three languages. At least for me, people worldwide, whatever, every day, okay, elevated thoughts. Lot of things disappear, lot of things are resolved, and because how much you can use your intellect and words, you can, because there is so much to do in a very higher level. So you can't get caught up into day to day. Lot of matters happen. So definitely these are very, very powerful languages and of a spiritual yogi life, right?
I don't know. I know I've finished my time, but I just wanted if you would give me permission to read to you something he said about politicians in the world. And I
Sure.
know that people will be asking you a lot of questions through, you're going to be at Peace Village, you'll have one retreat after the other. And what's happening in the world will definitely, you will be asked about it. But I was very struck by what Baba said in the same Murli about the three languages, and he focused on thoughts. And I think it's very helpful for us to know how to serve with the power of elevated thoughts. And I'll just read this little bit that he said to the in terms of serving the politicians. And he's Abyak Bap, that is sweet message for the political leaders of the world. And he said, each and every political leader in the world is engaged in his task with the good wishes and pure feelings of making his country and the people of his country
Great.
progress. However, even though their feelings are very elevated, there isn't as much practical proof as there should be. Why is this? It is because the feelings of the mind, feelings of service, and the feelings of love in the people of today and also in many of the leaders today have changed into selfish motives and jealousy. In order to finish the foundation, they have made many efforts with the power of matter, the power of science, the power of worldly knowledge, and the power of the authority of government. However, real power is spiritual power through which the feelings of the mind can easily be changed. They have less attention on that, and this is why the seed of changed feelings cannot finish. It is suppressed for a while, but according to the time, these feelings and thoughts show themselves in even more intense form. And this is why, now he's speaking to us, the message of the spiritual father for the spiritual children's souls is, and this is where I found it very helpful, always consider yourself to be a soul, forge a relationship with the spiritual father, take spiritual power from him, and become a leader of your own mind. then you will be able to become a political leader and be able to transform the feelings and the minds of the people. The thoughts in your mind and the practical actions of the people will become the same. With the cooperation of both, the elevated thoughts in your mind and the actions of the people, you will be able to experience the practical proof of success. And I thought that that was very interesting in the way, as a father, addressing these political leaders who are also his children and saying, you know, this is what I think you want, but because you have these thoughts, you're not getting it's turning out to be more of war and violence, etc. But then when he spoke to us and said, this is how you should serve them, it was very interesting.
I think that call of time is happening, no, after this.
Mhm.
So maybe you should print it. I mean, we can print it and keep it, and you can send me. I would love to read it again, because I know that this war which has began, the people are really kind of, it could become very big.
Mhm.
So yeah, whatever Baba is saying for them and for us, what we have to, how we can help, So if you can send me this, email me, and also then we use it for call of time in case it comes up. It might come up.
I'm
Because
sure definitely will come up.
people are always thinking about if big nations enter and then what's going to happen. All three forces now. Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, Om Shanti, Sister
Om
Mohini.
Shanti, Om Shanti.